Right, we need to have a chat because over the last few weeks, 6 now black people have been found hung from trees in America. And our media, the UK media, I'm not sure about the American media, have been largely silent on it. In fact, they've been completely silent on it as far as I can tell. If you can find a single news article from any mainstream media outlet in the UK that covers this, I'll be very surprised. I'll be genuinely interested to see it. So if you have any, link me below. Wherever you're watching me on, YouTube, Facebook, link me right there because I really want to see it. 6 black people have been found hung from trees. They are literally bringing back lynchings. And nobody is saying a word. Why? Most of these have been ruled suicides. And I think that for a black person to commit suicide, obviously I can't speak, I'm not black, but for a black person to commit suicide by hanging themselves from a tree, it would be akin to a Jewish person committing suicide by gassing. It wouldn't happen all that often. I don't believe anyway. Obviously, I dare say there are Jewish people who have killed themselves via gas, but it just wouldn't happen as often. There definitely wouldn't be 6 in the space of a few short weeks. What is happening? All this is while some tithead in Barnsley, I think it was, flew a plane with all White Lives Matter on a banner. Yes, White Lives Matter. Nobody has ever said White Lives don't matter, except for the people who are trying to argue that Black Lives Matter. When people say Black Lives Matter, it's trying to draw your attention to a cause. In this case, the cause of systemic racism that still exists in the UK, in the USA today. Nobody is saying that every white person in the UK or the USA is racist. Nobody is saying that. They're saying the systems are set up institutionally to discriminate against black people. That's what is being said. So when you say, oh, White Lives Matter, well, duh, nobody said they didn't. We said Black Lives Matter. When a bunch of nutters shot up the Charlie Hebdo offices after an offensive or a perceived offensive portrait of Muhammad was drawn by the artists there, we all said Je suis Charlie. We didn't say Je suis everybody. When Manchester Arena was blown up, we all said stand with Manchester, not stand with everybody. So why, when people say Black Lives Matter, are we saying all lives matter? Duh, that's the whole point. That is the idea, and it's that kind of attitude that leads to 6 black people being what I believe to be murdered by lynching, by the old methods of the 30s through to the 60s, even before that even, and nobody is saying a word about it. The UK media is silent, and it is terrifying. I am genuinely worried. I have black kids in my family. I am genuinely worried that they are going to grow up in a world that is going to be as racist as it was in the 60s, in the 30s, before that, and the media is going to be silent on it, and there's going to be no mass movement. Everyone's just going to be like, oh, well, white people matter too. No, get your head out of your anus. Get your shit on straight and realise that you have more in common with working class black people than you do upper class establishment people of any race. You have more in common with your black neighbour who is worried that if he gets taken into police custody, he might die because there is a 500% more likelihood of him dying in police custody than there is you if you live in the UK, presuming you're a white person. You have more in common with him than you do with Boris Johnson or Dominic Cummings or any of these rich arseholes of any colour. So just listen. When a black person says Black Lives Matter, ask them to elaborate. Listen to what they have to say. Don't get offended and upset because you're not being included too. That's pathetic. Get your head on straight. Realise that there is a systemic problem with racism in our system, not in our society. Well, actually, probably it is in our society when we're having black people hung from trees. But in our system, there is a problem with racial prejudice. Deal with it. Accept it. It's an established fact. Redlining still goes on today. Just accept it. Talk to your black neighbours, talk to your black friends and colleagues and co-workers. Get your head on straight. Because if you can go from saying all lives matter or white lives matter to Black Lives Matter, that doesn't mean you've conceded something. that someone else has won the argument. You've grown as a human being. I used to have a lot of trouble with the idea of white privilege. I used to believe that white privilege was the idea that I must be somehow privileged or somehow not suffer from hardship because I'm white. And growing up very poor, I saw that as a bit offensive. I was like, no, I've struggled too. But when you actually listen to what people are saying, when they talk about white privilege, what they're saying is you won't suffer certain types of injustice. You won't suffer certain types of hardship. So as poor as I grew up, if I got pulled over by police, I would be 500 times less likely to die in their custody than if I was black. That is white privilege. So when they say Black Lives Matter, what they mean is it is wrong that it's 500 times more likely that a black person will die in custody than a white person. And I know people like to point out that, more white people die in police custody than black people. Yes, that's true, because there's more white people. Black people make up 4% of the UK's population. Of course more white people are going to die in police custody. It's the likelihood that's the factor. And that's obviously just one example of systemic racism in the UK. So please, and I say this with all due respect, all due, politeness, get your head on straight. Stop being triggered and offended because somebody didn't say white lives matter or they didn't say all lives matter. They said Black Lives Matter. Ask them what they mean.